Hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody. I hope you're all having a nice weekend. Now let's get into today's clips.
Fox News just had a guy wearing a mask on a segment. It's a retired Admiral, Robert Harward. I mean, it's very blatantly a mask. This is very spooky. It's the kind of fuckery that we all assume is happening, but it's weird to see it. So who is under the mask? Robert Harward is a real guy. Is it some other guy wearing a Robert Harward mask? I mean, at this point, is it aliens wearing masks on the news? What are we doing? I think it might be an alien on the news. You guys see this? It's a guy wearing a mask. Whatever. It's all good.
Totally unreal, except it's right there for us all to see. Do you think this is just plain carelessness on their part, like we're all too stupid to notice? Or do you think they actually just want people to notice? It's hard to tell anymore.
$16 million to remove one congressman, making it the most expensive House primary in American history. And then they tweeted, supporting Israel is good politics. 16 million to remove one person is not good politics, in my opinion. But here's what they're not tweeting about. In Philadelphia, Chris Rabb won, a vocal Palestine advocate. AIPAC funneled money through a super PAC to stop him, and he won anyway. They don't want you to know that information, though. They want you to think that they're unstoppable. Guess what? They're not. And here's a media critic named Adam Johnson said, and this is the one that should kind of like probably sit with you. My favorite genre of AIPAC tweet is when they dump 16 million into a race, making it the most expensive primary in history, then insist their victors show support for Israel and its good politics. If it were good politics, you wouldn't need to spend $16 million. That's evidence Israel is bad politics. And here's what Massey said in the concession speech. I had to call my opponent and concede. It took a while to find Ed, well, considering he was in Tel Aviv. That's not me saying that. That's a congressman they just removed. For everyone who's new here, over 1 million of you watched that video the other night. Welcome. This is what we do. We don't do opinions. We do FEC data, public records, and sourced receipts.
Yeah, good politics for who exactly? But it is good to see with that governor winning in New York that all hope is not lost. We actually do still have some say with our votes, and we can make some things happen. Come on, guys. We all got to stick together and do what's best for this country.
I'm sorry. If you only want to work 4 hours, it's going to be harder for you to get a house. We busted our behinds. We had to bust our...
Hi, Whoopi. I'm Freddie. I run numbers on the internet, and I got to show you something. The minimum wage in 1980 was $3.10. It is now $7.25. The average salary was $12,500. It's now $59,000. And the median household income was $22,000, and now it's only $77,000 for a 3.5 times increase. However, rent was $243 on average. Now it is $1,900 for a 7.8 times increase. The median house price was $47,000. It is now $419,000 for an 8.9 times increase. And the big one, college, was $2,300. It is now $30,000, 13 times more expensive. Our median household income, to feel like they did back then, for rent should be $171,000 for the family. And for college, it'd be equivalent to our family making $286,000. And to remind everyone, the median household income is $77,000. So Whoopi, with all due respect, I think millennials and Gen Zs have it at least 8 to 10 times harder than you all did.
I would ask how any of us are ever expected to make anything of ourselves and have anything in this life, but it's clear the answer is that we're not. It's not going to stand, though. They're not going to get away with this. We're going to come out on top. Evil will not prosper. Good wins in the end.
Hey, not to fucking alarm anyone or anything, but is anyone else worried about how fucking stupid everyone is? Am I the only one that is running into these fucking special species or what? Like, what the fuck's going on?
I know the state of the average person on the streets can be shocking, especially whenever you don't feel like a very intelligent person yourself. But just remember, we're all God's children, and we all need to be looking out for each other and doing our best to educate each other if we can. Don't turn on your neighbors just because of their ignorance. Forgive them and try and do your best to educate them. I know in a lot of cases it's not just hard, it's impossible, but that doesn't mean we should give up. We should continue to try.
This is not rhetorical, I'm being so serious. If the price of everything keeps going up, and our salaries keep staying the same, what's gonna happen?
Excellent question, and the truth is, no one knows. We live in a closed system with finite resources, with a finite ability to withstand a certain population count, and the people at the top think that they need to own all things, all capital, all resources, all access to power, and that everyone else only exists to give them more access to wealth and power. And on a long enough timeline, it's just simply not sustainable. For a hot minute, there was a social contract, at least in this country, where the people at the bottom made living, thrivable wages. That's why boomers have access to so much wealth right now. The average, go look up, I'm not even going to give you, go look up the average age of a first-time home buyer 40 years ago, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, and today. Go look it up. Go look it up. No one has anything. When it's all said and done, something is going to break. And when it does, go look up how many people are in credit card debt compared to 20 years ago. Go look up the amount of people that are defaulting on credit cards compared to 20. It's going to pop, and it's going to be biblical.
The answer to her question is found within the history books, and it's found many times over throughout history. It's only a matter of time.
We're about to overthrow Cuba literally right this minute. As we speak, there are CIA operatives in Cuba right now getting ready, and not just that. We'll get to the president saying again that he's not going to be leaving office. This is like the 4th or 5th time. Just earlier, we had the US deploy an aircraft carrier to the Caribbean as tensions rise with Cuba. I mean, really, how did George Orwell know exactly what was going to happen? Venezuela, Cuba, Greenland, and now allegedly, they're saying that Iran just bombed a UAE nuclear reactor.
You start with some breaking news out of the UAE, where officials say that a drone attack against a nuclear power plant caused a fire.
Now right here we have the president saying he's going to be here until 2032. If you think he's joking, he's been saying this.
Coming, they said, in 28. I said, I'm going to be here in 28. Maybe I'll be here in 32 too. I don't know. Maybe I will. But I'm going to be here in 28. And I'll tell you, I said, that's great because
Remember George Orwell in 1984 talking about the surveillance state, and now we have these data centers popping up everywhere? I mean, everything in that book is happening. Oh yeah, we just had that New York City sinkhole open up in an airport right by the airport, whatever it was. You know sinkholes most time means it's hollow down there, right? In the news just mentioned 2 days ago about like a reptile person being like 7-8 foot tall. Unrelated.
Enough is just never enough, is it? We just can't keep our noses out of anybody's business. Shameful. Totally shameful. What kind of repercussions will this mess bring upon us, I wonder?
For everyone genuinely believing Western media propaganda about what's going on in Iran, they lied to you about Vietnam with the Gulf of Tonkin incident used to justify war. They lied to you about South Africa by supporting apartheid for years and calling it stability. They lied about Kuwait with false testimony to sell the Gulf War. They lied about Iraq. There were no weapons of mass destruction. They lied about Afghanistan. Internal documents, which you can access yourself, showed officials knew the war was not winnable. That progress was being exaggerated to the public for years. We struggled in Afghanistan. They lied to you about Colombia under the guise of war on drugs while fueling violence against Colombians. They lied about Venezuela through sanctions and narratives around intervention. They lied about Libya, claiming it was about protecting civilians, and it turns into a regime change. They lied to you about Syria, constantly shifting narratives around who we were actually supporting. They lied to you about Yemen while backing a humanitarian crisis. They lied about the DRC, ignoring and enabling exploitation and genocide tied to resources. They lied about Sudan. downplaying involvement and strategic interests. They lied to you about Palestine, framing occupation and violence as self-defense. What on earth makes you think they are telling you the truth about Iran? The United States loves to talk about how Iran can't have weapons, but who gave them to them? You ever heard of the Iran-Contra affair in the 1980s? The United States secretly sold weapons to Iran, even though we publicly considered Iran an enemy. And we had an arms embargo in place. They were not supposed to have weapons. And then they took the money they got from selling those weapons and illegally funded a war in Nicaragua behind the Congress and the public's back. Became one of the biggest scandals in political history, triggered congressional investigations, led to indictments, convictions of multiple officials. No? And all while this is even still happening, Iran was still treated like an enemy publicly. So if that happened then, what makes you think everything happening now is being fully told to you? Open your eyes.
I'll never forget being a young man and coming to the realization that the government of the country that I was taught to love is full of liars. It left a pit in my stomach that has never been filled since.
What's that? Oh, a farmer catches a helicopter dropping thousands, if not millions, of ticks into his farm, and things are getting a little bit wild. Tell me more! This is wild. A farmer's going out, kind of going through his land, and he notices a helicopter coming up, and it starts to drop all these ticks. So that video is going viral and circulating right now because he caught people in the act of doing this. The helicopter hurried and flew away, but things picked up a little bit quickly. After a few days of these ticks being around, the man actually started to find certain things that were dead on his property from these ticks. For example, he actually came across a moose on his property that was killed by these ticks. Now, there were people saying that this wasn't actually happening and that these were tick boxes that were showing up on farmland. But that's not what was happening. They're actually dropping thousands of ticks into these farmers' fields, and now they're finding them and catching them doing it. Okay.
Well, there it is. I've heard a bunch of claims circulating about farmers finding boxes of ticks on their property, spreading the parasites all over the place. And I guess it's causing a big problem with Lyme disease and giving people meat allergies. But now we've got proof. It is actually happening. Watch yourself if you get out there in nature, guys. Be sure and use plenty of bug spray, and whenever you get home, check yourself over for bites. You want to get rid of those little suckers as soon as you can. Anyway, that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you all have a great, wonderful rest of your Memorial Day weekend, and I'll be back with you guys with another upload after the holiday. Farewell for now.